I mean, you played that good in game number 1. You played that good. You played that good in game number 1. In game number 2. What the fuck was that? Oh, I'm only kidding.
Hey guys, Saiyansc here. This is a very special video. Recently I joined the nOm Starleague, and this is one of those games, one of the first games I've ever played in a tournament. It's a new experience for me. It was a ZVZ, and it was cast by XUN and AZHI. Definitely check out their links in the description, guys. It was a lot of fun to watch my own play and just get a bit of insight there. I'm hoping to keep improving over time. It's not the best games in the world, but I hope you guys enjoy them and have fun. Thank you.
This might be a little funny series with the maps.
How so? Did they play the maps in the wrong order?
They played the wrong map of the week, and then they just decided to play that game. That map, I mean, for the rest of the series.
They just played retro the whole series?
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that.
They really broke the rules on this one.
Oh my god.
We're no strangers to love here. You know the rules, and so do I. We just got rickrolled. We're going into it. Game number 1, retro, between Saiyansc and this other guy who I don't care about because he's going to lose because my boy Saiyansc is amazing. I'm just kidding. We got spawning in the top right. In the blue trunks, going to be Genesis. Going up against Saiyansc in the bottom right as the red Zerg on retro. Looks like Saiyansc going to be scouting in the correct direction and Genesis in the wrong direction. Haha! Just kidding.
Just not holding back on it, huh?
I'm kind of leading into it for comedic effect, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, you mean it. It's okay.
Let's go, Zane!
So we got 9 pool versus Overlord.
Yeah.
Overlord pool, obviously better than 9 pool, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about 11 or 12 pool versus 9 pool? This is still really good for Genesis, yeah?
Yeah, I would say so. It is a little bit more micro-heavy the later the pool is, obviously, but it should still favor you going for those slightly later pool timings. That's not too late, for sure. The overpool and 11 pool definitely defensively advantaged against the 9 pool.
No, I'm no ZVZ expert. I basically, when I played it on ladder, I just went 12 pool every single game, and it just seems like I was always ahead against like 9 pools and stuff, to where I just kind of won from there.
Well, there's one, obviously, if they go 9 pool lair, it's a little bit more nuanced because they will be getting those mutas out very quickly, so you're kind of forced to spore. And in those situations, maybe you don't make enough lings, and suddenly they ling flood you, and they just barely overwhelm you. There's a kind of shenanigans that can happen. It looks like we will be seeing the 9 pool lair coming out of Saiyansc in this matchup here.
And it's actually going to be expansion too. How does this typically play out? Like for Genesis, I imagine it's going to be where we're going to be fighting to defend our natural, and then we have to, I guess, get spores for the Aspire then, right?
That's exactly how it'll play out. I mean, it's obviously the option that Genesis could put on his own Ling counter-aggression after defending the 9 pool initially. Could also do that with the advantage of having the extra lava available. We'll be sending 1 Zergling out, and we'll see these 6 Zerglings. Saiyansc picking off that first Ling,
that's
though.
Huge.
That's actually really huge now with 5 to 6 Ling advantage. Going to be putting on the pressure on that hatchery, forcing Genesis come down the ramp. Needs to be careful, though. Saiyansc will get his own Ling caught out. Nice little pickup for Genesis there, trying to evening out that early trade. There is an Overlord in the main base, so he will be seeing the exact timing of when lair starts with Genesis, so he hasn't seen it yet. It's a little bit weird, actually. We haven't seen speed or lair out of Genesis, I don't think, whereas we have speed on the way for Saiyan as an afterthought now with the Spire on the way.
So Saiyan did something I've actually never seen before. I've never seen a Zerg open 9 pool with the 6 Lings and then drone behind it. I've always seen just more Lings. Is this actually normal? I just haven't seen it, or what?
It's a more passive way of playing it, yeah, because you can always make a sunken defensively and then hold your ramp to buy time for the mutas. So you definitely can play like this. It's a little bit on the greedier side, but it's definitely very a meta way of playing, kind of putting on initial pressure, but then kind of falling back to a more defensive way of playing. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a strong way of playing, because you can kind of abuse it. If he For example, if there was speed on the way for Genesis and he was flooding Lings right now, he could break this ramp and get on top of Saiyan quite easily. Would be difficult, but it would still be a very winnable situation for Saiyan with the mutas on the way. So yeah, still a strong option for Saiyan, but it is a little bit on the riskier side if there was a Ling flood.
Yeah, I feel like I like this for Saiyan because once Genesis also has to make the spores and stuff, his drone count is going to be really, really low. And because of Saiyan's opener and he made the extra drones, he's going to have a really, like a pretty solid drone lead pretty much for the entire like early game here.
Yeah, and with the Sunken already made, we should be relatively safe as long as we trade fairly cost-effectively on the ramp. Now wants to retreat to the safety of the Sunken after the situation became untenable. We didn't have the surface area advantage, and now we'll be trying to drone drill and block up the holes a little bit. Doing a fairly good job. Genesis not yet targeting down the drones of Saiyan. Does try and target the Sunken, which I think is a mistake. Just wanted to get drone kills, I feel like, but only managed to get 1 or 2. I don't feel like he got that many. So a little bit of a worrying situation for Genesis. He will be getting these spores online, so he might shut down the muta, but I feel like maybe Saiyan from here could eventually expand and not make too many mutas, or try to make lots of mutas and try and overwhelm one of the Sunkens is another option.
Yeah. Yeah, so imagine now, so the spore coverage is pretty good. He has everything covered by spore here.
He can hit this
so
from the
maybe
top.
this top one.
He can hit that one from the top. Yeah, it's not a good spot.
But yeah, I feel like from here, Saiyan would probably want to just find whatever chip damage he can, and then be like droning, possibly. It looks like we're making more muta. But like you said, I feel like we can kind of expand from this position, yeah, relatively easily. We're safe here, right? Because Genesis is forced to play defensive. We don't have to worry about muta or like a Ling flood right now.
Right, like we got a Sunken and we've got mutas, so that we're not really scared of Lings, and he's not going to have any mutas anytime soon. So we're very safe. We could even take 2 expansions if he wanted to be super greedy. That would be a good way of dealing with a more turtle style from Genesis. If he was going into, say, Hydralisks, you could definitely take an early third in this situation as well. But as it stands, we just need to get 1 base online. Ooh, getting some drone kills with these mutas. This spore isn't very well covering the top region of these bases, so Saiyan picking up quite a few of the drones there. I like that Saiyan also got the +1 attack fairly early on, because it's going to give him a lot more power to break through these spores in the future. Ooh, needs to be careful though, taking some free damage on those mutas from those spores. Spores are pretty much one of the best anti-air buildings.
Yeah. I think Cookie started to say something.
Cookie, you start to say something?
So we have a lot of spores coming down here for Genesis. Like a lot.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah. Is this normal, or is he just worried about getting... Yeah, I feel like it's a little too much.
This is too much. This is him overreacting to losing some drones, I feel like, and he's just a bit panicky. Okay, this is a mistake from Saiyan taking this macro hatchery in the main. It should be a 3rd base, 100%. All we care about
especially if I saw, like, if I saw this many creep colonies go down, because these are drone kills, right? Like, I see this and I think these are drone kills that cost him money.
Yeah.
So I see this and I would think about where I would want to put that investment. And because this is all defensive stuff, it means that I can't kill him, so I would use that to then grow, like, my economy instead.
Well, there's 2 choices. You either make a Queen's Nest immediately and go Guardian, or you go 3rd base. But you don't want to go Guardian if he's not going Hydra. But he hasn't made a lair, so we could still go Guardian, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I got you. That's interesting. I've actually never seen Guardian ZVZ, but that's kind of a fun thought.
Yeah, it's actually one of the best counters to the sort of 2-base turtle into Hydra build. You can go really fast Guardians to counter it. And same thought process here, he hasn't got a lair yet, so we did have enough time to technically go Guardians. And he is going to be going for Hydras eventually.
Yep, there's the Hydra done, yeah. 2nd Evo? Guess we're gonna get double upgrades?
Yes, pretty standard. You kind of need to do that. Although his timings are a lot slowed down, like he's taking a long time to get this going, so Saiyan has all the time in the world to get like a 3rd base up and get a crazy economy going.
Yeah, it just feels like we dumped way too much into defense here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be asking a lot of questions because this is probably my least knowledgeable matchup.
Well, he initially only needed 2 spores in each base. The third I can understand. The fourth is excessive, but only this early. Like, I'd understand him making it a little bit early, a little bit later on if, say, Saiyan was like all in muta on like not making that many drones and just trying to make muta, like constantly trying to attack his spores and stuff like that. Then I can understand the 4 spore investment. But as it stands, I think he's just worried about like the positioning of his spores and having stuff picked off and him not being able to deal with it. So he just wanted to play super safe.
And how do you feel about Saiyan going into his own Hydra behind this?
Not good. I think if he's going to do anything, it should be Lurker, not Hydra. It should be Lurker, not Hydra.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do have a pretty massive bank, gas bank. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, looking at this, like, Saiyan is behind on eco, right? Because we stayed on 2 base, we didn't go third. So we're down on drone, and we're going to be way behind on upgrades. Okay, yeah, there's Lurker.
I taught him well. He understands some things.
And Lurker is like the normal follow-up here? Or is it's just an option? I guess there's a lot of options, it seems like.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of options to us. I mean, the only thing that's scary is once Genesis gets out the critical mass of Hydras, like we're talking like 3 to 4 control groups, only then is it starting to become a little bit scary. And even then, we still have the potential of whittling down those Hydras with good muta micro, slowing him down. And if we do have Lurkers on the way as well, we can really shut down those Hydras.
Yeah. I guess that's it. So Genesis just stays in his base, tries to get a pretty massive Hydra count, and then move across the map. So, but it looks like if that's what we're going for, then Saiyan still has like a lot of time, I feel like.
Oh, we could have 4 bases right now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Unironically. He's going for Lurkers, so he's really safe as well, because he can just use the Lurkers defensively while turtling on those extra bases and eventually out macro the Genesis. One thing that's interesting is that it's kind of bizarre when you think about it, how this matchup's usually played, but literally Genesis's trigger is to sit in his base until he has like 4 control groups of Hydras and then attacks. Like it's kind of weird to think about, right? Like he's getting like 1-1 upgrades, waiting for crazy amounts of Hydras, and then he's attacking. Like it's a very foreign concept for ZVZ, but games do look like this sometimes.
That's kind of what I was gonna say when you started to talk about that. It's true. Like ZVZ is kind of notorious for like non-stop aggression, right? That you're just always fighting in ZVZ. So yeah, it is kind of interesting for the Hydra build to just be like, we're just gonna sit here and we're gonna play like Terran for a little while.
Yeah, it does kind of force you to have to respond to it as well, because it's such a weird way of playing that you kind of do have to adjust your own style to counter it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you run into it a lot less often, right? That's kind of the one thing about people that play weird builds, I've always felt like. They do have the advantage of being in the situation way more than everybody else.
Yes, they have more experience walking that road, whereas you're walking down a slightly unexplored path. So
it's a great arc of Lurkers, by the way.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic contain from Saiyan. He's doing a good job. Daddy's proud. One thing I would like to see from Saiyan, though, is taking this 4th base earlier, because he kind of took a long time in macroing up. Like, he didn't have to make as many mutas, for example, earlier on. Could have been a little bit greedier. But yeah, it's going to be a really rough for Genesis to break out of this. Good luck, mate.
I don't feel like you ever get out of here.
He makes drop. He has to make drop tech and play like
That's
that.
what it looks like he was doing.
But it's rough for him, though, right? Because like you still have the mutas to deal with. So it's like, it's not easy to drop, because if the mutas are on top of your overlords while you're trying to drop, they can gun down Hydras whereas they unload and stuff, and gun down the overlords while they're mid-transit.
And Saiyan's actually gone back into mutas. He went for the Lurker contain, and then we're just mass muta behind that.
Oh, man.
That's painful.
I told you, man. Lurker's pretty good against this. Wow, man, I'm really impressed with Saiyan. Like, I didn't know anything about the games going into this. I wanted to stay blind. I'm really impressed with him, though.
I think it's kind of funny thinking about it. You're over there training Saiyan. He's my teammate. I'm over here practicing with you against other people.
Well, I don't have that mentality of like, oh, you're not on my team, therefore I can't help you. You know what I mean? Like, he's still my
Yeah, I
boy,
do.
I'm still going to help him. And you're still my boy, and I'd still want to help you, even though you're not on the same team.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Unlike Snow forgetting his bros.
End his match entirely.
That guy, right? Am I right, guys? Wicked.
That guy.
That guy.
He's that guy.
Right, there's so many lurkers for Genesis to deal with. I don't know how he's going to break out of this. He's decided now's the time to make a queen's nest. I mean, yeah, sure.
I actually, no, I see the play here.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Broodlings?
Infinite value against these lurkers.
Broodlings. Stop broodlinging the lurkers over and over again.
You got broodlings for lurkers and snare for muta. Like, this is kind of like the winning strategy.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's maybe just going to go hive and maybe get I guess he could get his own. Do you know what'd be really bizarre? Hydra Guardian. That's the play. No, Hydra Guardian.
Hydra Guardian?
Hydra Guardian.
Hydra Guardian is my go-to strategy on BGH late game.
I think Hydra Guardian would work in this spot. I think Queens are too slow and not enough power. I think Hydra Guardian here works positionally.
I mean, the issue is just how incredibly far away that is from happening.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, it's not good. But it would be something he could pull out to help deal with this.
Offensive Nidus? Oh, true.
Well, he has to get out there with the Nidus, so he'd have to get drop tech, but that could be a potential. Yeah, getting like a hidden hatchery somewhere on the map and then putting a Nidus down. Unironically, that would be a good play. You do sometimes see that in very high-level games in ZVT. Very rarely Action's done it. Those kind of like plays that you don't normally see in Broodwar, because like most people only make their hatcheries for expansions rather than for like plays like that. But it does happen still at the higher levels. So 2-2 upgrades now on these Hydras, so we're getting there, but we're still boxed in. Hive's just now finishing. We don't have a Spire, so we're probably not going to get any Guardians, but I guess maybe Defiler Mound, but I'm not sure how that helps you against Lurkers.
Can you Plague Burrowed Lurkers? You can't, can you?
No.
Cannot, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it plagues the Mutas, which is great, but what about the Lurkers is what I'm wondering. Like, we need something to break out from the Lurkers. I don't know how I feel about this.
I think I know the play. So the best way to get past these lurkers is you GG and go to the next game.
I mean, that's honestly probably one of the smartest options you can take, because you need Guardians to get out of this. Like, seriously, like how else are you breaking that with Hydra? You seriously need like 200 Hydra to maybe break all of those lurkers.
Maybe. I know
maybe break all of the lurkers.
These are going to be 1-1 lurkers even soon.
Oh god, yeah. This is gonna get nightmare fuel, man. He's killing one of his own spores to optimize his mining a little bit. Give some.
Unfortunately, they're coming out of the left side, so that's not even the right spore.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, we did fix it.
Nope,
never mind.
Nope, never mind. This, that.
We got Consume coming, so
I don't know.
Are we going Dark Swarm against Lurker? I'm not so sure about that, guys.
In his defense, you would want to get Consume before Plague, so.
Oh, I guess that's true.
So you'd get the Consume first, either way.
Fun.
I mean, you look how much that energy takes a long time, AZHI to hug. You'd be waiting like 3 minutes for Plague or something. Maybe 2.5, 2 minutes.
I'm mostly just curious to see how he feels like this is gonna go. Like, I want to see what exactly, because I'm not even sure. We got Guardians coming now. I think we die before we even see what Genesis was thinking he should do here.
Well, what he was thinking was not the right thing. So
yeah,
that's for sure. That's for damn sure.
I just wanted to see what it was. Consuming.
I'm digging the 13 Guardians from Saiyansc here. looking rather fierce. Look at this setup from Saiyansc. It looks so fierce. It looks so scary. I kind of feel bad for Genesis. I wouldn't want to be playing against this right now. So far, acid spores raining down from the Guardians. There is Dark Swarm, so it is going to provide some support from the Guardians, but the buildings do not benefit from Dark Swarm, so this position will start to become opened up more and more, and lurkers can hit under Dark Swarm. They're going to say, I'm going to borrow your Dark Swarm, buddy, because guess what? Now you can't even kill my lurkers anymore, so thanks. Thank you very much for making my infinitely strong composition infinitely stronger. Oh, this is absolutely devastating for Genesis. Saiyansc's absolutely outclassed him in this match, I would say. And I mean that honestly, not just because Saiyan's my boy. Like, this is phenomenally well dealt with. GG. Even Genesis saying nice GG. I'm being objective. This guy played well today.
It sounds like you're both biased to me.
Genesis is biased too. Saiyan going to be picking up that game number 1 finally after that long drawn out position. Although it had to be done, you can't really quite attack into that until Guardians are ready.
Alright, John, I have a question for you. What map do you think Genesis will go for after that game? And why is it retro?
Because they're both sausage monkeys that don't know what they're doing. They don't know the rules. They're rebels, okay? Rebel scum. What do you want me to say, man? They need to get their act together. Car, wicked. All right, we're going to be going into game number 2 on Retro. Deja Vu over here. Spawning in the bottom left as the blue Zerg. Having a little rough time of it. It's Genesis 7. Kind of copying Love Snow's brand with the 7 at the end. Oh, I don't know if Love Snow's going to like that, Genesis. She might have made an enemy out of him. Careful, he's an angry drunk. Spawning in the bottom right as the red Zerg, none other than your boy Saiyansc.
I was hoping they would get the same spawns and do a similar opener, so it would be questioning if it was the same replay or not.
The exact same plays out almost the exact same way. We're like scratching our heads. It's possible.
This is with a 9 hatchery, so we're gonna go 9-9.
Yeah, this you know, Saiyan could die to this. This is strong. This is strong from Genesis. This counters his build as well. Saiyan going for the same thing might get. This is the thing with ZVZ, right? I mean, not only is it like a monkey fight in a phone booth with like a machete, but there's only one machete is the thing, right? It's not like you both have a machete. You're inside the phone booth and there's only one machete between the two of you. So you're both fighting over the machete. And it looks like Genesis has caught the machete in his hand and is going to try and take a swipe at Saiyan with it. Because he's kind of soft-counted his build with this 9 hatch here. As long as he can make sure he navigates this initial micro battle with the dealing with the lings, he's going to be in a huge advantageous position because his 6 lings will be finishing up just in time to meet up with Saiyan's earlier lings, and it's going to be lair first from Saiyan, so no speed advantage for Saiyan to maneuver against these additional lings.
We have a problem though. That is that Genesis did not save enough larva in the beginning. Oh no, he did. Wait, oh no, I see. Never mind.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. It's the way it was on the production tab. Confused me.
And he will get on top of these lings of Saiyan before Saiyan could pick off the egg morphing the 2 lings in the natural. Unfortunately for Saiyan, wasn't able to get the shutdown on those lings. So now going to be at a bit of a deficit and going to be wanting to set up a little concave on the top of his ramp. Is now building a spire. The pressure is on. Ling speed on the way for Genesis. No gas being mined. Pure ling production from this moment onwards. Can Saiyan stabilize, get this wall set up on his ramp? He needs to do so. He is starting to trade 2-on-1 with the first ling. Does trade it off. 2 lings have fallen for Genesis. Puts Saiyan in a rather favorable position for the time being. Needs to start morphing a sunken creep colony about to finish in the main base. Needs to tighten up this concave on the ramp to prevent these lings from getting into the base too quickly, while also morphing in more and more zerglings with every lava and the scrap of minerals that Saiyan's got. He needs everything to hold on now. He just needs to buy as much time for this spire to finish so he can hatch out a singular muta would be enough to shut down the aggression of Genesis and force him into making spores. And because he went 9 hatch, he's not going to have the big powerful economy he needs behind it to transition, and will not find it easy enough to catch up in muta count eventually. So it should be a win there for Saiyan if he can manage to find that game state.
Yeah, I'd really like to have actually seen Saiyan pull off of gas at this point, because like you said, you only need one muta to win the game from here. And he did see the extra lings coming across the map. So we're kind of overmining a bunch of gas that's not going to help us in surviving here.
Yeah, you could have left like one drone mining gas maybe. But
Yeah.
But the only issue is that we don't know exactly what Genesis is doing behind this, so I guess he wants to hedge his bets a little bit. I would have left maybe 2 mining gas or 1 mining gas and taken 1 or 2 off. But as it stands, going to be throwing down the second Sunker, but this isn't a very tenable position for Saiyan. A lot of lings will start to gather inside his base, and he might get busted open if he's not careful. Ooh, it's going to come down close. The lings kind of skirmishing in. We'll start to get on top of the eggs that are morphing. There is a Sunker on the way, but it's not yet finished. And now Saiyansc trying to drone drill onto that Sunken to get on top of these lings, unable to get a great surface area. So the first Sunken will fall short, but doing a good job of mopping up the Zerglings is Saiyansc actually, and turning that position around slightly in his favor, but hasn't yet started a Mutalisk. He has enough to make 2. Instead, it's going to favor making 1 creep calling to. Why is he making 2 lings? Make a single muta. Oh my god, we're going to be having words after this, Saiyansc. We're going to be having strong, strong words.
Yeah, he's never going to win the ling fight here. It's not possible.
We have to make a muta to put this guy on the clock right now, saying, oh, we lose the other Sunken. This is really bad situation for Saiyan. He's trying to get the other Sunken line. It's going to pop, though. If he can drill perfectly on this Sunken, maybe it's a favorable position for him. It's slowly going to barely be enough. He doesn't lose a single drone, so currently, even on work accounts, it's saying, as he start a Mutalisk. He's making another creep. I'm going to go insane. I'm gonna go insane watching this. Saiyansc.
Oh no.
You have 700 gas and not a single Mutalisk on the way. You need to make just one Mutalisk to rule them all. Saying, come on now, my guy.
No, we need drums. We need drums right now.
This is absolutely devastation. What am I watching?
The only thing that would make this better for me is if I see a Scourge start for this Overlord.
Well, I guess they cost less minerals. Oh man, this is painful to watch. He's making a drone! Make a muta! Sort your life out!
He's even seeing more lings coming in his thought.
Oh, there's the Mutalisk! Woo! See, I'm being a bit biased against him now. You see that, guys? I expect more of him.
The wild thing is that Genesis never made, like, he sees the Spire for this long, and he's like, I'm making lings only.
He wants to kill him. It's an elimination race, yeah. 1 muta finally out. Woo, come on, let's do it. Now, it does take a long time for this muta to actually kill all these lings, so it's still not over yet, but we do finally have that air superiority that we so desperately needed. It's going to be focusing down the Overlord. You need to be killing lings right now. He's going to be making more lings because lings are dying. Why are you killing the Overlord, Saiyan? Okay. This is not a great situation for Saiyan to be in at all. He's going to be, unfortunately, losing this game momentarily. He's completely busted open. And, yeah, that's going to be all she wrote. GG. Wow.
Didn't even finish the Overlord before he quit.
Genesis taking down Saiyan in that epic game 2. Really showing Saiyan that he needs to be less of a sausage monkey, man. Damn. I mean, you played that good in game number 1. You played that good. You played that good in game number 1. And in game number 2. What the fuck was that? Oh, I'm only kidding. We're going to be having words. In private, though.
I just love how confident Genesis was that Saiyan was never going to make a muta too.
He was right. GG. Alright, well, we're going to be going into the tiebreaker between these 2 sausage monkeys. One slightly less sausagey than the other. Saiyan needs to really get his act together here, I think. He needs to clear his head. I think the only issue I see is that he might just go for the 9-pull lair again, and then what if he gets countered again by Genesis?
I wanted to ask you actually when we were talking about it, or when you were talking about it, what is 9-9 bad against?
Well, like say if they go like say 12 hatch and make non-stop lings,
okay,
you have a ling advantage. But if they scout it and make non-stop lings and just turtle, they can still hold it, and then they got an economic lead, like things like that, like anything that gives you a slight economic lead while still barely having enough to defend.
How does 12 pool match up against it?
I'm not too sure about 12 pool, because you have a later expansion, so you have a lot less lava to work with. So I'm sure there's timings that you can abuse a lot with that. I'm not sure the exact nuances. I'd have to run some drills on it, but I would still say that 9 hatch has a lot more counterplay to 12 pool. I think 12 pool has a little bit harder time against it than 12 hatch, maybe.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was just curious. Looks like Saiyan is going to 9 pull again. And Genesis looking like another 9-9.
Yep. So we got Genesis in the top left as the blue Zerg, and Saiyan in the top right as the red Zerg on retro. We're going to same map every single game because these twos are sausage monkeys that don't know the rules. Genesis is going to be throwing down that hatchery on 9, like AZHI was saying. Pretty much mirror of last game, which is what I was worried about, AZHI. I was worried about Saiyan just doing the same thing and getting countered again. Like, he's kind of played himself here.
Yeah, great adaptation from Genesis to start metagaming Saiyan for basically punishing him for doing the same thing over and over again.
Right, and you can't... It's one thing to do the same thing over and over again in other matchups, but in a mirror matchup, it's like dangerous territory. It's not...
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. Like in PvT, me going 23 Nexus every game is not... There's not really like a straight hard counter like that you can punish it with, right? But something like this, like in a mirror matchup where there are just established counters to certain builds, you cannot do the same thing over and over again for that reason.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate that I'm going to have to be fair to him, I haven't really gone over a lot of ZVZ with him. It's one of the matchups we focused on the least for sure. So he hasn't yet been really working on developing a ZVZ that much. So I can maybe give him a little bit of leeway as far as that's concerned, but still would have liked to seen a little bit more variation. I did show him another style with overpool into dual hatch for a nice strong muta timing that he hasn't opted to go for in this series, which I think would have been a strong contender to help deal with this 9 hatchery style from Genesis.
Yeah. We're just going to kind of run into the same situation as last game here. Saiyan's going to turn around, realizing it's a 9-9 and not going to take this fight like he did last time and lose a few extra lanes. So he does at least have that a little bit more, like a little bit better in his favor than the first game or the last game.
Maybe he starts the muta this time, AZHI.
Maybe he learned.
Maybe. I believe. Come on. I believe.
Surely. Alright, so yeah, it looks like the same situation is going to play out. We'll just see if Saiyan makes the adjustment that we feel like he needs to make here. And like I said, he didn't lose the few extra lings this time in the beginning trade, so he is able to protect his ramp a little bit better this time than he did last time.
That's actually a very astute observation, AZHI. He has way more lings on his ramp than he did in that earlier situation, so if he can get a nice little concave set up here, it might be...
Look at what Saiyan did, by the way, in his main.
Oh, we stopped mining gas. Okay, optimizing our minerals a little bit more. Gonna be taking this a little bit more seriously. We got enough to make 2 mutas, so we're happy with that. 2 or 3 mutas is more than plenty at this stage.
Yeah, I feel like Saiyan's already making adjustments that he needed to make.
Okay, now I'm starting to get impressed, Saiyan. Okay, you're starting to earn back the respect. We won't have to punish you too much.
Who did you talk to after your game?
Alright. Come on, Saiyan.
Looks like we're saving Larva from Muta.
Let's just push that
Genesis
button.
also not getting aggressive this time, like right away like he did last time.
We actually could have kept one or 2 drones on gas in this situation where we weren't as pressured.
Yeah.
So we could make 3 mutas with a 4th soon. But it doesn't matter. As long as you can get the 2-3 mutas out, we're pretty happy.
Yeah. You put, like... I feel like 2 mutas is all you really kind of like need for sure, right? Like 1 muta to fly across and kill drones.
Yes and no. Like I like having more for defense. I like having 1 to get to the drone line and like 2, and then another 2 or maybe 3 to defend, just so I can clear up the lings faster. Because there are some situations where they ignore the sunkens and just target down all your drones, and you need a little bit extra DPS to mop up the lings sometimes.
Look at that. Is Saiyan listening? Like 1 muta straight across and 1 after the Lings. Like, this is
Well,
perfect.
this is
We're
what
doing
this
it
is,
perfect
this
this
is
time.
this is kind of what I told him though. Like I've been over this stuff with him already, so he should know this stuff. It's just a matter of whether or not he can execute it. He's doing a good job of holding his ramp as well. There is enough soaking up of the links that he shouldn't lose too much here. The only thing that will be an issue is if he allows the links to get inside his main base and he doesn't drill the drones, because he needs to drill the drones away from the links so they don't all get sniped. He needs to stop the links from getting on top of his sunken. So let's see if his drill is good. A pretty good drill thus far. 3 more sets of links coming out of the eggs, going to also help mop this up. And he's great sunken. Look how many sunkens there are, saying, pulling no punches with his sunkens. He's saying, I'm not going to die the same way again. Look how many sunkens he's making. I can hardly blame him. It's basically his one win condition is just to not die to these lings while these mutas are killing all the drones in the main base of Genesis. I think Saiyansc done it, AZHI.
Yeah, the last drone goes down here and we just completely dead at this point. And there's no way Genesis is going through 4 sunkens at this point in the game.
Definitely not. I think he's done it. Finally, he pushed the muta button. And it's GG called from Genesis, Saiyan taking the series 2-1. Putting the win on the board for Team Loveboat. Wow.
Saiyan hitting him with the bye. Get out of here.
Wow, really shut down. He got build all the loss and still managed to deal with it. I mean, to be fair to him though, he didn't lose those lings early like in the other game. He stabilized, he made an adjustment to his play, stopped mining gas a little bit, made the extra sunkens, made the sunkens in better positions. So yeah, nice adjustments from Saiyan going into that game 3, I would say.
I would argue that somebody probably played for him in game 3.
Someone played for him.